400 tons of metal, kerosene, and air, and it all takes to the skies. The Boeing 747 has carried more people than any other aircraft in history. Today, here are 20 facts that will change the way you look at this aircraft. Fact number 1. Boeing received the order in 1966 and knew that if they didn't meet the 28-month deadline, the company would go bankrupt. They built the factory from scratch. The planes were assembled with unfinished engines right on the production line. Fact number 2. The 747 was designed as a cargo plane. The cockpit was raised so the nose could open for loading. When the passenger version won out, the hump simply became business class. A happy accident. Fact number 3. The Wright brothers' first flight covered 37 meters. The 747's wingspan is nearly 69 meters. This plane could have flown right over their heads that day without even touching the ground. Fact number 4. 6 million parts from 33 countries, 4.5 million rivets, electrical wiring, 274 kilometers. That's the distance from Moscow to Tula and back, all in a single plane. Fact number 5. The engine's diameter is 2.5 meters. That's larger than the fuselage of 1930s-era aircraft. During the first test, it twisted the test stand's mountings. The engineers thought it was a disaster. It turned out to be unprecedented power. Size isn't everything. Fact number 7 is about what this plane did in secret military operations. Fact number 6. Modified 747s carried space shuttles right on the fuselage. 68 tons of the spacecraft on top. It looks like a montage, but it's real. 2 such aircraft logged more than 11,000 flight hours. Fact number 7. 1991, Operation Solomon. A single LL flight evacuated 1,122 people compared to the standard capacity of 480. People sat in the aisles and on the floor. Several children were born right during that flight. Fact number 8. The U.S. President's plane is a modified 747. Inside, an operating room, conference rooms, secure communications, in-flight refueling. 1 flight hour costs $200,000. Fact number 9. At takeoff, a 747 weighs about 400 tons, equivalent to 50 African elephants. Nearly half of that weight is fuel. It could fly nonstop for over 14,000 kilometers, London to Sydney without stopping. Fact number 10. During takeoff, the wingtips bend upward by 2.5 meters. This isn't a defect, it's by design. A rigid wing would simply break under such a load. Flexibility means survival. This channel is all about aviation, facts, stories, and planes that change the world. If this resonates with you, subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. The button is right there. Let's keep going. Spoiler. Fact number 14, about how many times a 747 takes off in its lifetime. I double-checked it 3 times. Stay tuned. Fact number 11. The total flight distance of the entire 747 fleet is 78 billion kilometers. That's 9 trips to Neptune and back. During that time, more people have flown on board than the entire population of Earth. Fact number 12. A full tank holds 216,000 liters. That's enough to fill up 4,000 cars, but with a full cabin. Each passenger gets just 4 liters per 100 kilometers, just like a regular sedan. Fact number 13. Above business class and in the tail section of most 747s operating long-haul flights, there are hidden rest areas for the crew. There are narrow bunks, sometimes small portholes, and basic amenities. While passengers fly over the ocean, part of the crew is literally sleeping right above their heads. Some passengers have never heard of this in 30 years of flying. Fact number 14. The airframe of a Boeing 747 is designed for approximately 20,000 flight cycles, but many aircraft have long since exceeded this threshold. There are 747s that by the time they were retired had completed more than 35,000 takeoffs and landings. That means the plane took off and landed every single day of its life, about 3 times a day, for nearly 30 years straight. That's the very fact I promised. 35,000 takeoffs, nearly 30 years. Not a single day off. Fact number 15. Before the 747 came along, transatlantic flights were a luxury reserved for the select few. A ticket from New York to London in the 1960s cost the equivalent of about $3,000 to $5,000 in today's money. Thanks to its enormous capacity, the 747 cut the cost of transporting a passenger roughly in half. It was this very aircraft that made transatlantic flights accessible to the middle class. Fact number 16. In the 1970s, Pan Am and other airlines equipped the upper deck of the 747 as a lounge bar with a circular sofa and, in some cases, a real piano. Passengers climbed a spiral staircase in the middle of the plane and sipped cocktails at 10,000 meters in a nightclub-like atmosphere. Today, that space is occupied by business class or additional economy seats. Fact number 17. At the first demonstration in 1968, the engine caught fire in front of journalists. Boeing had already drafted a bankruptcy plan. It was saved by a single decision, redesigning the turbine seals, made at the last minute. Fact number 18. All four engines have failed. The 747 continues to fly. From an altitude of 10,000 meters, it will travel another 150 kilometers without thrust. The wing works even in complete silence. Fact number 19. In February 2023, the last production 747 rolled off the assembly line. 55 years, 1,574 aircraft. The veterans who built the first planes came to say goodbye. The Queen of the Skies is no longer in production. Fact number 20. Boeing engineers said, after the 747, we believed we could do anything. This aircraft proved that the impossible exists only until someone takes it seriously. 28 months, 6 million parts, 5.6 billion passengers, and a piano bar at an altitude of 10,000 meters. Which of these facts surprised you the most? Write in the comments. I read everyone.